gotta make it out to Vegas, where the lights shine bright. Vegas, in the clear desert night. Vegas, where they can make you a star. Vegas, at the NFR.
NFR Extra is a podcast dedicated to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo and features icons and personalities that embody the Western lifestyle.
So she was down there helping out, and I was there for the rookie awards and maybe stayed a little longer than I should have, and I'm happy I did. Every little kid, their dad's their hero, and to see them, in the spotlight, it definitely made an impression on us. I actually wanted to be a bull rider for a long time, and I guess I grew out of that a little bit, but I tried for a while, and but it always seemed like we were probably going to end up being in rodeo one way or another. It was something that we always wanted to do, me and all my brothers.
This is pro rodeo announcer Andy Seiler, and you are listening to NFR Extra.
How's it going this morning, Dawson?
Oh, it's going good. We got down here to Armstrong for the Armstrong Rodeo here tomorrow, and so we're just hanging out. We got a cabin close by, so just having a lake day.
Perfect. So you got three of us here, myself, Andy Seiler, Brylan Bentley, and Steve Godert. So we'll just have a little chat and go from there.
That sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Nice and cool. Is fall wanting to settle in up there, or is it still kind of warm?
It's actually just now it kind of started cooling down. It's been hot all week, and it's about perfect. It was pretty hot for a little while there. Now it's cool evenings and cool mornings and nice sunny day.
Very nice. Good way to spend it up there in God's country.
That's right. Yeah, and I got the wife and daughter up here for the last few days. So it's been nice to see them and hang out with the whole family for kind of few and far between this time of year. We've been pretty busy.
How old's your daughter?
My daughter just turned 10 months old, so she's darting around the house. She's just about walking, but
boy,
just going from couch to the table, but not fluently walking yet. She's just she kind of chickens out a little bit, but it's a pretty fun age.
Yeah, that's the first kid. You always get really excited for them to start walking, and then after that, you try to suppress it for as long as you can, because once they get mobile, they're gone.
It's a chasing phase then.
Yeah, that's what Zeke said. He said the first one you're working trying to get him. You're so excited, and he said you're pushing the next one over for a little while.
What was your childhood like growing up?
My childhood, it was kind of a little different, I guess, than lots of people's, but kind of the same as well. We played a lot of sports. We played hockey, me and my brothers, for 7-8 years. My older brother kind of took it a little further, and aside from that, we'd spend a lot of our summers out here where we're at right now at the cabin in BC, and me and my brothers would get to take turns picking what rodeos we'd like to go to with my dad. So usually he'd just take one of us at a time, and sometimes it'd be a Canadian rodeo run, and other times we'd get to go maybe down south of the border, and basically just the winter times, I guess, we spent a little differently than a lot of kids, because a lot of times we'd go down and watch San Antonio with my dad, and we'd actually homeschool. My mama was a teacher before she had me and my brothers. So then she homeschooled us through the winter time, and we got to go to a lot of the cool Texas rodeos and stuff. And that's once we got a little bit older. But yeah, aside from that, is hockey and rodeo.
So when it comes to hockey, because I'm the ignorant one here when we talk about that sport, because I live in Florida and we do have some decent hockey teams, but do you have to learn to skate first, or is it kind of a toss you out on the ice with a puck and a stick, and good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. There's a lot of good hockey teams out in Florida, and a lot of good farm teams too as well. But it's basically like as soon as you can, about 4 or 5 years old, you start an initiation, and you kind of figure out how to skate. But it's a sport you start really young. You go. Basically, your first couple of years is a bunch of kids falling around on the ice and chasing a puck around, just pushing a puck around the ice. And then, so a lot of, I guess, until you can learn how to skate, but a lot of definitely all the hockey players you'll see in the NHL and that taking it really far, as soon as they could walk, they probably had skates on.
I am not a fan of that. I tried it one time with my kids. My kids had my daughter, I think, was like 3 at the time, and had the ice skates with the little double, the double like starter.
Oh yeah, the double blades.
Yeah, the double blades. She could barely reach like the top of the rink, and she was dead set. I think it was like February or something. I live in Dillon, Montana, and so it was pretty cold there. And man, I was like, all right, baby girl, you ready to go? She goes, nope. And she did the whole thing of just holding on. Her little fingers kind of barely held the top of that. And she was bound and determined to make one loop. And after that, I was like, you want to go again? She's like, nope. And then after that, she punched her ice skating card. She didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, no, and I guess we had a lot of opportunity too, because I remember a lot of times being a kid and everyone on your hockey team, most of us were farm kids and stuff, and we'd go clear off spots on frozen ponds and dugouts and stuff, and everybody had a set of nets, goalie nets. So you'd go to your buddy's house and clear off a spot on the rink or on a pond or somewhere frozen and just skate around. And it was a little rougher than the hockey arenas, but we had a lot of fun.
So, were you a better hockey player or fighter? Which were you the enforcer? What was your role on the family team?
Yeah, I was not near as good of a hockey player as my brother Logan, and but I'm also not very big, so it's hard to be a great enforcer. So I got a lot of penalties. I thought I was an enforcer until I got to about 13, 14, and the kids got a lot bigger, and I started bouncing off them a lot easier, and then I basically just got a lot of penalties.
Yeah.
that kind of ended my career. I wasn't much of a use for the teams after that.
Yeah, you could set up the nets.
Yeah, no, my brother Logan, though, he played really good. He played AAA hockey for 2 years, and he just being a little bit too small is pretty well, I think, what cost him from going, any further. But he didn't really even grow until after he got out of his his last couple of years. 15, 16 is, I think, when he quit playing, like when he was 15, 16 years old. And it was just everyone was 6 foot something on the AAA teams, and Logan was the short guy running out there. But he was really fast, and he got a lot of goals.
So with your hockey career coming to an abrupt halt with the lack of growth that you demonstrated when you were 10, what did your winters look like? Because that's kind of the whole thing is, if you're not skating or playing hockey, what do you do?
So I rode junior bulls and steers, and I was kind of, when Logan was in his hockey stage, he went a little longer than me, and I kind of got into, a lot of steer riding, junior bull riding and stuff like that. And then I guess I would have been 15 years old then, kind of when I was done hockey, but we just had started getting on Broncs together. So our winters, and that's kind of what ended Logan's career as well a little bit too, as he kind of moved towards Bronc riding as well. And we were busy all winter. We'd go to practice pens, and Tuesdays we could go to Old's practice pen and get on bucking horses. Every single Wednesday we'd drive to Rimby, and my dad would haul his horses down there. Thursdays sometimes we would go to Hobema, and then Fridays usually off, and then every second Saturday we would get on at the Jackpot in Rimby. And for the first year and a half, we didn't actually rodeo at all. We pretty well just practiced at our house and at the rodeo grounds in Wildwood. And we got on as many practice pens as we could, and it was just it felt like we were going somewhere or planning on going somewhere every other day to get on bucking horses. So it was a busy time for sure.
Those are all indoor barns that you're practicing at?
Yeah, so that's during the summertime in that year, we would practice at our house and home outdoors.
Yep.
But during the winter time, like it's it can get up to minus 40 to 40 outside, so you definitely can't practice outside. But Rimby, we're really lucky. They built a new facility in Rimby kind of right when we were starting, and it has a really great setup and is heated, so it changed a lot. We actually we started practicing in a place in Edson, Alberta, and it was pretty cold in there. By the time you got the doors open to run the horses in, it pretty well let all the warm air out, and you were pretty chilly getting on everything. But once Rimby opened up, that was our main spot.
How do you prepare for -40?
It's actually, it's not.
Don't say it's a dry cold. Don't say it's a dry cold. I mean, when you're,
I don't know. It's not that it's a dry cold, but I think there's -40s that are different because where we're at, it's not real windy. So the wind is what, I've been in some of the coldest temperatures ever at my house, but the coldest I've ever been is like in the winter in Wyoming when it's coming. Like we go to the Bucking Ball every year on New Year's, and a lot of times they get that wind whistling through there that weekend. And I've never been so cold in my life, and it's only -15, but it feels a lot worse.
That wind will blow through, especially a little guy like you. I've even got a little bit more cushion, and I still find it extraordinarily uncomfortable. But that's wind is problematic.
I guess you can dress for it though, because it's not that windy. So I mean, you can't have any skin showing, but you definitely got your long underwear on and as many layers as possible, and some really good gloves and boots.
Yeah.
All I think of when you say -40 is the Christmas Story little dude all wrapped up in a bundle. That would be me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing starts. All the trucks, you got to plug in all the vehicles. No tractors don't start. The hydraulics get cold. It's horrible.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, it's got to sit there for an hour and just kind of warm up and decide if you want to do it. So do you guys ranch up there too?
Yeah, so my dad's always ran cows up there, and we run about 350 head of Black Angus, and put up a little bit of hay, and my dad hauls hay in the fall and through the winter, but that's the main deal is the ranching and raising bucking horses.
Nice.
So speaking of your dad, I grew up a huge fan of his, and to me, he is on the short list of people that should have won a world title and never did. I mean, I know he's a Canadian champ as well, but tell us some of your earlier memories of traveling with Dad to Vegas.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't remember a lot of the years because we were so little, but once we got to an old enough age where it really sunk in, it was, something we looked forward to every year. It was I don't know, it was the biggest event that we'd ever been to or ever watched. To me, it was like this, being a rock star. We thought that, everyone's the coolest people in the world who were getting on at this, and the opportunity we got as kids to come from, Wildwood, and then next thing you know, we're in Las Vegas and all the lights and it was really crazy to watch. It was something we were so excited for. We couldn't wait for. You'd count down the days for every single year, and looking back at it, it's some of my greatest memories was packing up and going to Las Vegas for 2 weeks and getting to cheer on your dad. And a lot of guys don't get to bring their kids to, a lot of guys. I'm happy that we were born and we got to watch a lot of my dad's career while he was still in the prime of it, and we weren't too young.
Do you think that had an impact on you of you wanting to do that, or what was or too young, like you said, you were maybe too young or whatever, but did that leave an impression to where that's something you want to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every little kid's, their dad's their hero, and to see them, in the spotlight, it's definitely made an impression on us. I actually wanted to be a bull rider for a long time, and I guess I grew out of that a little bit, but I tried for a while, and but it always seemed like we were probably going to end up being in rodeo one way or another. It was something that we always wanted to do, me and all my brothers, and to be honest, we weren't really pressured into ever getting on bucking horses or anything. It was always us begging Dad to run them in, and he gave us all the opportunity in the world, but was never forced upon us. And I don't think my mom wanted us to have to didn't want to stress out and have to watch us getting on bucking horses. But I think she knew that was probably what we were going to end up doing.
Let's take a quick pause, and we'll be right back. So what kind of coach is your dad? I mean, with you guys, obviously he's taking notes, giving you tips and stuff. Is he kind of more in the background, or is he the guy that calls you right after your ride and he's like, hey, we need to go over this?
Yeah, I'd say he used to be. He's a great coach. My dad's always been, before we ever got on, he had always made a point to put on rodeo schools and bronc riding clinics, and it's something my dad's been naturally good at, is coaching and being able to break things down. It's things happen so fast in the bronc riding, so to be able to break it down to where you can understand it and take it simple steps is something my dad's always been great at. And he when we were first starting and going at some amateur rodeos and stuff, he definitely called us a lot more and broke things down. But we're kind of at the point now where he's not as much of a coach anymore, more of just he gives us confidence, tells us how, about our good rides and stuff. And I think the coaching stage is over. He was definitely a pretty strict coach for a long time. There was no bad spur outs, and if you had a bad spur out, it's 0, and didn't matter how good you rode. And he implemented a lot of the fundamentals that you see, that make a successful bronc rider, and he dang sure wasn't easy on us, and I'm happy about it.
So outside of the rodeo arena, what do you do to prepare for riding bucking horses? I like to practice as much as I can. If I'm healthy, I like to, I'm not as much into the gym stuff and working out, but if I can, be on a horse or be in, if I got a couple weeks off, I like to at least run a practice pen at least. I'd like to do once every week, but I don't like to let myself go more than 2 weeks without getting on if I'm healthy. So before the NFR, we'll get on 2 or 3 times a week, every single week leading up to the finals, and try and ride the bucking machine and stay active. But I think the main thing I'd say I do to prepare is just try and constantly be getting on, even in the off season. How many horses, when you run horses in through the chute there and you're bucking them, how many do you get on per session?
It totally depends. If I feel confident, usually 2. If I am sore, maybe I'll get on 1, but we'll usually get on 2. Depending how the second one goes, if I'm not happy, sometimes I get on 3, but no less than, or not usually less than 2, but not usually more than 3.
Oh. And how many guys do you got going with you when you're getting on there? Is there kind of a pile of you?
Yeah. Lately, since, I've been living in California, we've had, it's usually just me and my buddy Lefty getting on. Sometimes, usually before the NFR, a lot of guys will stop in on their way down. Like Brody Kress would stop in, Zeke, my brother Logan did last year. And, but for the most part, it's just me and Lefty getting on at the practice pen. And, so we'll only buck, 4 or 5 horses, and we'll have, Kyle Lockett usually picks up for us, the NFR team roper. He's an awesome pickup man. So we get him, he's only a couple miles away, and, Lefty's dad's got a beautiful arena set up, Preferred buck and shoots, and we got some really nice horses out there. I've bought a couple for my dad and hauled them down, and then Mobetta Rodeo, Maury Tate, I was lucky to get a couple practice horses from him, and we got some retired Sankey horses, and we got anything you can pick from.
So you're Central Valley, California, then, where you're living now?
Yeah, just Visalia.
Okay, Visalia. All right,
south
cool.
of Fresno.
Very good. Yeah, we I've had an opportunity to announce that Wood Lake Rodeo over there, right outside of Exeter, and that is one of the most beautiful rodeo grounds / hottest rodeo grounds that I've ever been to.
Yeah, it's it can be really, really hot. I never have been out to Wood Lake. My wife's been there a few times. She high school rodeos, and then to watch Lefty at the pro rodeo there. And I haven't been out there yet, but yeah, them California rodeos are really hot, especially even Oakdale can be. It was super hot there this year, I thought, and I'm not used to that side. I'd rather the cold.
Yeah, either super hot or totally flooded, one of the two. There's no in between.
There's that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Tell us a little bit about your wife. How did you meet her?
I met my wife at Las Vegas when I was getting my Rookie of the Year award, and she and her auntie run the Rodeo Quincy clothing company, and so they go out and obviously Quincy's husband, Dakota Eldridge, is a veteran at the NFR, so she's always there watching him, but they have a big booth in the convention center that they sell their clothes out of, and she runs the booth and works for Quincy year round. And so she was down there helping out, and I was there for the Rookie Awards and maybe stayed a little longer than I should have, and I'm happy I did. We ended up I ran into her one of the days. We were running around and talked her into hanging out for a night, and we, I think we got dinner or something, and I kept talking to her and convinced her into coming to the Cowboy Downhill actually in Denver, and that was the first time we actually really hung out.
So now
we went skiing in Denver, and the rest is history.
So now that you're married and you guys have a little girl, has your travel schedule changed at all? Are you picking your spots? How does that work?
Yeah, it's been hectic. It's been a lot more expensive this year because I can't help but we were really lucky to be able to have Honey in October, so I got to spend the first 6 months. I didn't miss a day with her, but then when we started getting a little busier, it made it really hard because I hadn't been away from her very much. So we were making a lot of unnecessary trips to, flying back home for maybe a day and then flying back out and then flying them in for 2 days and flying back home. And we've had a lot of Honey, for being 10 months old, has probably been on 25 flights. Yeah. She's a seasoned traveler.
Yeah.
But it's, we're super blessed to be able to make that happen. I can't, she's like my good luck charm. I always do good when Honey's there. So it pays off to have her around.
It's just a reminder
there to fly her out.
Yeah. That's just a reminder of how much money you need to win when you see your daughter there. It's like, all right, we gotta win this thing.
That's right. That's right.
The funny thing is she's not even saying like, Dad, can we please get this yet?
Yeah.
No, she's not. That's going to make it even more expensive.
Oh, you have no idea.
Yeah, you got the pony, then the junior barrel horse.
Oh, she's got the pony already picked out. I think Mom wants the pony more than Honey does. But yeah, Lily's been on a pony search for the last 2 months.
Yeah, good luck saying no to either one of them.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
My youngest daughter, she always goes, Daddy. I'm like, whatever you want. Yes is the answer for whatever.
Take it all.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I think it's different with little boys. I've noticed with my traveling partner Zeke, he can be a little harder on Hardy, his little boy, and doesn't seem, but he has an awfully hard time saying no to Lucy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's how it goes.
Oh, I get that all the time. Dad, you did this to me. What about my sister? And I'm like,
she's fine. Don't worry about her.
You have to discipline her in a different way, son. You're just being nicer to her.
You're right.
That's Mom's job.
That's Mom's job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So what? Yeah, I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah.
So give us your dream draw at the finals, because I always like that question, because everybody's got kind of a different style or what they want, and what's the horse you want at the finals?
I'd say for me, it's got to be X9 again. I think Explosive Skies of Calgary Stampede I think will be the bucking horse of the year for sure this year. There's another level of Broncs that only a few of them are on. Like I'd say your Wild Cherry, X9, Explosive Skies, Killer Bee, Indian Burn, horses that they're kind of like no other. They don't even feel the same. It's on a whole new level. So I would love to get on X9 again. It's one of them horses you never know. You're never going to ever feel confident that you're going to make the whistle on, but makes for the most exciting ride.
Yeah, that's never know if you're going to make it to the 8 seconds. That's something I will never ever know myself, because I have no desire. But no, the caliber, kind of the same thing with the caliber of horses that you're talking about there. There's a caliber of cowboys that, can ride those horses, and you're definitely one of those guys, and you've proven yourself time and time again. And I just want to thank you for joining us here today, and wish you the best of luck, and can't wait to see if we can get a gold buckle on you for this year.
I sure hope so too. Thanks for having me on, and I guess I'll look forward to seeing you guys here in Vegas.
We'll see you there. Want to experience more of the NFR? Then visit NFRexperience.com, and we invite you to subscribe to NFR Extra on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you're listening right now. If you like what you've heard on NFR Extra, we would love it if you gave us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe.